Okay, so the next table we have in our fall semester project for AQR is our amortization table. This is straight from Choice Board 12 on Schoology. So if you created your amortization table in the maroon 12 activity, or in the yellow gray 12 activity, or the full board 12 activity, you can just copy and paste that. So you should be able to do that, and I recommend doing that because otherwise it's a lot of work, right? Okay, but let's say you were kind of slacking on that part and you have to build another one. Okay, so this I'm going to center. I'm going to make it bigger. And let's start. So we're borrowing money. We're going to have it at a certain interest. You're going to have a time that you're borrowing it in years. Okay, so the way you'd set this up, let's say I'm buying a $125,000 house. Let's say I'm paying 4.3% interest. And I'm going to finance it over, let's say I'm going to do 15 years just because it's less dragging. Okay, notice how right here I don't have any letters typed. So I did not put 15 years in here. This has to just be numbers. The exception is this with a percent, and that's just a formatting note, right? Everything else, the units are not in here. The units are over here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need is we need rate, NPER, future value if you want to. I'm assuming that I'm paying it all the way off, and my payment. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to calculate that. The reason I need these two and kind of this is that I'm going to use it to calculate my payment. So my rate, so this 4.3% is my annual interest rate. The rate that I'm going to be paying per month is that divided by 12. So I'm going to go equals this divided by 12. NPER is the number of pay periods. This is the number of months total that I'm going to be paying. I'm doing 15 years, but I'm paying once a month and there are 12 months in a year. So I go 12 times the 15. Notice how I did not type 12 times 15. I typed 12 times and I referred to here. Future value, 0. And we're going to do the payment. This right here, these two right here, I refer to these cells because that way if this changes, so like say I decided to pay it off over 30 years instead, that would automatically update. Payment. I'm going to go equals PNP. Open parentheses. Click on my little question mark to see what it needs first. Pay attention to the order that you put this in. If you put it in the wrong order, it won't be right. Okay, so it wants my rate, my NPER, present value, future value. Okay, so I want rate, comma, NPER, comma, present value. You can close parentheses after this. It'll assume your future value is 0, or you could refer to your future value. It doesn't matter. Close parentheses. So my payment every month is going to be $943. Now, if I financed it over 30 years, my payment would be $618 a month. But I would also pay a ton more in interest. So I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so now we're going to set up our actual table. So we're going to do payment number. So this is like month number. So 1, 2, 3. This has to go down for the same number of periods, right? It needs to go all the way down to 180. So I'm going to highlight all 3 of those. If I just highlight one of them and I click and drag, it just fills in that one. But that's not what I want. I want it to follow the pattern. I want it to keep numbering. So if I do that, it keeps numbering. I'm going to go all the way down to I don't want 181. I want 180. Okay. So this amortization table then is going to tell us what we owe, what part's going to the interest, all that. Okay, I have payment, the principal part of the payment, the interest part of the payment, and then my balance on my loan. Those are our headings. I'm going to bold those. I'm probably going to underline them. Okay, so my payment is always this. So I'm going to go equals. I'm going to refer it to this. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to put my dollar bill signs because I don't want it to change. So every single month, I'm paying the exact same. But every single month, it's not the exact same going to your actual debt and to your interest. So this payment is not all going towards this $125,000. Part of it's going towards that. Part of it's going to make the bank rich, right? So that's what these two are going to tell me. So my principal is almost the same formula, but we're going to add a P for principal payment, PPMT. Da-da-da, open parentheses. And now this one, you got to pay attention to the order because we're putting this thing in here. So we go, okay, because it changes by month. If I click on this, so once my rate, the period number, which is going to be this, then my number of periods, then my present, then my future. So rate, this, okay. So rate, comma, this one, comma, this one, comma, payment, comma, future value, I think. But so of this, only 495 is actually going to my mortgage. So okay, so my interest part of the payment, so I'm going to go equals IPMT. Same thing. So I'm going to click on this at once. Rate, period, number of periods, present value, future value. So this is the exact same formula as this. It just has an I in front instead of a P. So I go rate, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this. Da-da-da. So notice like almost the same amount is going to the actual interest as is going to my loan, which is kind of depressing. Okay, balance. For the first month, this right here is being taken off of this, but notice that it's negative because I'm paying it out. So I want the amount that I owe minus what I paid, but this already has a negative on there. So I'm going to click on this, and instead of doing minus, I'm going to do plus because the negative is already here. Only it's not the payment, right? Only the principal part's coming off. So I click on the principal, enter. Okay, so now I started out owing 125. Now I owe $124,504.40. So then now I'm going to go here. So this has my dollar signs in it. This does not, but I want it to because I'm going to click and drag and I don't want it to change. The only thing that I want to change is this. So everything else is going to get dollars. Dollar, 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 lots of dollars. Okay. Same with this one. I'm going to go ahead and put my dollars in because if I don't put my dollars in, I'm going to regret it later. Everything's going to be wrong. I'm going to get like hashtag value. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to pull all three of these down for a second. Just one row. Now my balance. This one came off of the original that I borrowed, but now my balance is going to go down every single month. So instead of adding this to this, I want to add it to this instead because it's going to take it off. Because now I don't, after this month, I don't owe 125,000. I owe 124,000. So I'm going to go equals. I'm going to click on my balance from before. I'm going to do plus. And I'm going to add my little principal. And so now it went down again. So now it's set up the way I want it to. So I'm going to highlight all of these. And I'm going to click and drag all the way to the bottom of my table. So all the way down to 180. And if I did it right, it should be a 0. Ta-da! So at the end of 180 months, I've paid it off. So, okay, that's our amortization table. Theoretically, you should be able to just click on what you had and put it over into here. You're just going to make it pretty. I might make these bold. I might underline this. That's all formatting. It's totally up to you.